The thing is, it's not just a train that is going rogue on a weird train track. It's an evil lady that put the train there and is like, ha ha ha, are you going to pull the lever or not? And there's an audience who saw her put the train there.
You're listening to Getting Faed. We,
Lukas,
Lea,
and Meike are reading A Court of Thorns and Roses for the very first time. Today we are covering chapters 43 and 44. Get Faed with us! Woo!
Ahem. Hello.
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 I'm sorry if my voice is a bit sore. I had band practice before this.
Ooh, busy boy.
Busy, busy, busy.
Okay, no, it's okay.
After Lukas has turned into a pig, he is now ready to moderate this podcast.
Last episode we had Lion Lukas, sort of, trying, and now it's Pig Lukas.
After being the hunter, he is now the prey.
Why can't I be a hunting pig?
That would be
That would
cool.
be epic.
It's like...
Epic!
It's like the pig of Dine Ironfoot's war pig. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Did you recover well from our hike yesterday?
I did. It was nice to get out there again. In
Yeah.
the German wilderness.
Of some vineyards.
Yes.
Yeah, we hiked through some vineyards. That was very nice.
Some beautiful vineyards.
Yeah, it was very beautiful and also a bit muddy, but that's okay.
But we didn't have any rain.
Yeah, even though it was forecast. We were very lucky. I got a few droplets when I biked back from
Yes,
the train
us too.
station, but that was okay.
Yeah. Also, we saw a castle and then we climbed on top of the castle tower and then we saw nice views.
Wow.
Yeah.
like a princess.
Yes.
You are a princess.
The people from that castle must have been very small because those stairs were very, very claustrophobic. But I have to admit, today I have a little bit of a muscle cat. No, of sore muscles.
Yeah, me too.
I know. But anyways, we saw a castle. Now we are in a fantasy mood.
Yes!
Absolutely.
So we can talk about some fantasy.
Woo!
A fantasy that has not featured any castle yet.
Truth.
Well, if you're so in the fantasy mood, would you like to recap what happened last episode?
Let me think. Was that when they overheard the ACOTAR?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, and we got some like big picture plans from the King of Fireburn and stuff like that. Then Feyre had like a psychedelic music trip
Oh, yeah, right.
where she regained her confidence and kind of got over her depressive hole. Oh yeah, then she almost fucked Tamlin.
Oh, right.
They had like a little getaway in some
Dark corner.
in some dark corner next to the throne room. But then
la
Rysand
la.
caught them, and then he like pretended it was him doing this with Feyre, so Tamlin won't get blamed by Amarantha. Very cute.
Cute? Well, debatable.
And then not much happened, right?
Well, he had his whole spilling his backstory wound in her cell moment.
And also his plan.
Yeah, we got Rysand's plan. He just wants to make Tamlin so mad that after this is all done, he will just lash out and kill Amarantha.
But for that, Feyre has to succeed at her tasks. So
Yeah.
that Tamlin gets his powers back, I
We
guess.
will see about that.
So now that we know the plan, the time has come for the plan to be set into motion, because it is Feyre's final task. The time has come. How exciting.
Excitement!
Excitement!
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I mean, we only have 4 chapters left, including the ones we talk about today. So this is the meat.
It really felt like showdown is beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. This time Feyre is not given any fancy costume or something. She's giving her old clothing, which is filthy and reeking and absolutely disgusting.
They didn't even wash it. That's a bit nasty.
I actually thought, ooh, is that a sign that she might actually be going outside? Spoiler, it wasn't.
Yeah, when they said, oh, I was given my old pants and tunic, I thought, yes, we're gonna get a nice, exciting task, maybe some trekking through wilderness, just as we did yesterday. But no, it's indoors again.
I thought it was just very mean to be put into something disgusting. Is, I don't know, setting off your moral, I guess, because you can't really concentrate on maybe the stuff you're supposed to do when you stink so much. I mean, that was disgusting shit she was in, right? Did she wear it when she fought
I
the
think
worm?
so. But I actually thought maybe that these clothes were disgusting, but that she would probably even feel more comfortable in that than what she was wearing the time before, because these are the clothes that she feels comfortable in. These are her clothes, and she's about to be like, yo, I'm feeling in my skin now and not exposed or whatever, like dressed for battle, and the, I don't know, traces of battle are still visible. Of course, it's probably not the most comfortable thing because, as you pointed out, it reeks and is disgusting and literally shitty. But to me, it felt more like, oh, finally, I'm back in battle gear or something.
Okay, interesting. I feel like I would have not done it. I would have been like, no, guys, I'm out of here. I will not do the task.
I will keep my flimsy dress. Fuck off.
We don't really get any insight on if Feyre likes it or not, but she says, despite it, I still kept my head high and my chin up. So I guess, you go, girl. That's good for you. But the fairies in the room react differently to her than they did the task before, because now they're silent and just watch her entrance. Like, they know this is the final moment, and now if she wins or loses, it decides something important. I mean, most of them know the bargain, right? They know, like, if she wins, she can maybe take Springcourt and Tamlin with her, and I don't know, things are gonna change, and maybe some of them even wonder, is Amarantha gonna stay true to her word?
Yeah, to me it kind of read like that maybe some of them have a newfound respect for Feyre even, because in the first task it felt like all the fairies there were pretty keen on just seeing her slaughtered. But then they realized, she's not as incompetent as we thought. And maybe that even made them think that she might be an actual person with feelings.
All of them in love with her now.
Probably. And it really felt like they have some solemn respect. And that's why they keep silent. And don't they like do a little respect gesture?
Yeah, the book is taking it a bit far, I think, because they give her like the blessing of farewell to like beloved, I guess, relatives or something. She says it as everyone should know what the gesture means, so I wasn't sure if it was like a human thing, which would be wild if the Fae did a human blessing, or if it's like a Fae blessing and she learned it from maybe Tamlin or Lucian at some point.
Do we know that it's a blessing?
She says it's a blessing and a gesture to the honored fallen.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
So yeah, they like touch their fingers to their lips and then outstretch the hand in farewell.
Very Hunger Games
Yes,
coded.
that's
Very
exactly
Katniss.
what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think it's a bit much.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's good to know that apparently there's still some freedom of speech left under the mountain, because they can just show this respect and blessing to Feyre, and Amarantha does not immediately kill them for not hating her. I'm not saying that she's a good leader now, but she still allows some respectful gestures towards her victim.
Yeah, I mean, she even lets Feyre have some final words. And it's very foreshadowing how she's like sitting there in a blood-red gown. And she says like, oh, do you want to have any final words? And then Feyre, of course, is like, I love you. Not to Amarantha, but to Tamlin. That would have been the biggest plot twist. She's like, no, I'm going to show you my love so I can change you. I can fix you. No, she tells Tamlin she loves him, but he doesn't react.
She has this whole heartfelt speech, but he does not seem bothered.
I've found this confession of love is very kind of epic. Especially the way she doesn't wipe away her tears and such. I mean, I don't like them together, but like, I like that she stays true to her love, and she's like, I don't know, it feels so honest when she says this. And at this point I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I really believe her. Like at first, I didn't like the whole like Stockholm syndrome thing. That's kind of in between them because he kidnapped her and she is his captive. But this feels like she's honestly convinced she loves him. And while I don't get it, I'm almost happy for her.
I also like, or I find it very interesting that none of the other fairies, they not only show her this gesture, but they're not like cheering or laughing the way they did in previous tasks. And Feyre is wondering like, maybe their support for Amarantha before was just for show. Like even Lucian's brothers are not like haggling or something. And I don't know, this seems again to me kind of out of the blue. When did they get on her side? While she was dancing for them? For entertainment? And then I was wondering, the last books I have read for a long time were like books where I reread the stories. And maybe I'm not used to like just new developments anymore. Or is this just very surprising? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think it feels quick too, but I guess it makes sense in a way that this is like a tipping point. Because now, whatever happens, something will change. Like, they don't know if she wins, probably everything will change because Tamlin will get his powers back and they don't know what will happen then. And if she loses, Amarantha will probably go totally feral on her and maybe that will tip Tamlin over. So they're like, whatever happens today, everything will change. So now is the time to like choose a side or maybe show alliance to a side.
I think maybe they all secretly were against Amarantha, but this is maybe the first time where they think, oh shit, there's an actual chance that she might lose today, and so they're like on the edge of their seats.
Also, the power of El Kitty is just so strong.
I guess.
They are all shippers.
El Kitty Supernova.
I think especially people like Lucian's brothers are very like opportunist. So they probably enjoyed their powers or whatever under Amarantha or the freedoms they got because they supported her, but they probably rather would rule themselves. So maybe that's why they're like, this could also be in our favor here.
I mean, she took their powers.
Yeah.
So maybe they stand behind her because they stand below her. But they cannot be fully like, oh, yes, you are so good to us. Because she isn't.
Yeah.
She made that very clear. She's just ruling them all. So
Not a benevolent ruler.
But before her final task can start, Amarantha once again is very nice and gives Feyre the chance to skip the task, asking for the solution of the riddle. But Feyre doesn't know. And what Amarantha says is so funny because not only is it giving a hint, but it's also making it very clear that we were right.
Yeah.
We already knew what the solution to the riddle is because Amarantha goes, pity. The answer is so lovely.
Wink, wink.
At this point, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, she's basically giving her the answer.
Yeah.
Like, is she just, she doesn't know what love is, so she can't solve the riddle, even if I tell her it's love.
Yeah, this just proves that Amarantha is so sure Feyre cannot guess the answer.
I mean, honestly, up to this point, she's just right. Like, it feels so stupid of her to just give it away. But Feyre does not know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because Feyre doesn't know, the third task starts. And it includes 3 hooded figures walking in. And at first I was like, oh no, is this like someone human from her life or something? But no, it is Fae. High Fae, I guess, because they are not described as fairies, but I'm not sure what the difference is anymore. So they're not human.
Yes.
I don't know and I don't care. But when the 3 figures arrived, for a moment I thought that they might have kidnapped Elaine Nestor and her dad.
Yeah, I
That
thought
would
that
have
too.
been
I thought so too.
quite
Because
cruel.
they are all hooded, so we don't
Yeah.
know who's under the hood. So I
But-
was like, oh no.
Yeah, I agree. But then we hear it's 2 men and 1 woman, so that wouldn't fit her dad and her sister. So I was like, Isaac? Something like that. This is other people from her family,
It's
but
Mahogany Tuff, Isaac Hale, and Thomas Mandray.
But honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't bring in
Yeah.
anyone from her past life, because I feel like this one chapter where she leaves it all behind is just that, leaving it behind and bringing it back would kind of feel repetitive and annoying. And
Yeah. But my second thought was, oh no, is it Alice and her boys?
oh, I didn't even think about that.
And I mean, like, this thought was held firm in my mind for quite a while until the female fairy was revealed. So
Yeah, I understand why. The fairies all carry pillows with ashwood daggers on them, and that can already make you guess what the task will be. Because it is Feyre is supposed to kill those 3 chosen fairies. And they take off the hood of the first one. It's a young male, and he is begging for his life. And that got so dark so quick. Because there's someone in the audience sobbing, and he's like, no, please, don't kill me. And she's just standing there like, the fuck?
yeah,
I'm supposed to do what?
it's truly, truly heartbreaking. I mean, I think we've talked about like, oh, does she have to do something she cannot do in this last task? Does she have to kill someone she doesn't want to kill? But at this point, she's actually talking herself up to do this. And I was like, what? Oh, ha. But I wanted to speak about the moment when Amarantha gives her the task because she lifts her hand so that Jurian's eye can see Feyre's reaction or whatever. The fact that she always makes an effort for Jurian to see is just, to me, so overly dramatic.
But it's also nice. I mean, this poor man has been trapped in there for 500 years. I think he maybe is not rooting against Feyre, but this has to be some good entertainment, finally.
Do you think the eye can move in there? Because otherwise it would depend on how she holds her hand, like up or down. He would see all of it happening upside down. She's like, watch this. And he's like, I can't, can you turn it around? I really can't see.
Turn around.
I think it's like moving in there and like swirling or something. But like, I know that's her whole motivation, but like, it's been 500 years. Get over it.
I mean, I guess that's the problem of the character.
I know, but
Are you saying that Amarantha is kind of petty and
unreasonable.
maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in these moments where she's like, oh, Jurian, look at her being like, it just, I don't know, brings it very forward to me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's just an uncomfortable moment, but especially for Feyre, who has basically to decide if 3 innocent lives are worth the life of, I guess, all of Springcourt.
And like in the long game, possibly the entire mortal realm. So I guess
Difficult decision. She even says how it's like different from hunting, but I guess when you look at it like more closely, it isn't really that different, because when she's in a forest, she has to kill because she has to survive and save the ones living with her. And here she has to kill to survive and save the ones living with her.
But I would argue there's a difference between animals and people.
Yes, of course.
I mean, animal rights exist, I know, but like, there's a difference.
No,
I
yeah,
know
of
she
course.
has been like killing people and being like, okay, it's just like hunting. And I feel like that's like a thing that happens sometimes in these stories where...
Has she killed a person before? Besides Andras, who she didn't know was a person when she killed him.
At least she has been like, okay, I can fight. It will be like hunting. I have been doing it. I mean, the Naga people. Who
They
knows?
didn't look like people,
Yeah.
which
That
probably
makes it
makes the
easier.
difference. Well, it probably
Yeah.
does make the difference.
If they look like monsters, who knows? Yeah.
But anyways, she kills the guy when he's like frantically pleading for his life. I think she just kind of snaps and is like,
Yeah.
I gotta put an end to this frantic wailing, and stabs him in the heart.
I did not expect that. I expected her to fold with the first person, I have to admit.
Yeah, I thought she would be like, I'm gonna do it. No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, solve the riddle or not solve the riddle.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was surprised she killed him.
I
Yeah.
really like that she did it. Like, not for her, it's not good for her, but for the story.
Yeah.
It makes for a pretty cool development that she now has literal blood on her hands, and it's chilling. It was quite heartbreaking, nay, heart-stabbing.
Yeah, it was really, really dark.
Yeah.
And like the way she talked herself into it. It's like, okay, this is for the greater good and something. Like, she's talking herself into killing these people. And immediately when she kills the first fairy, I was like, okay, now she cannot stop.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Then she truly killed someone in vain.
Yes.
And in that way, it's really good that Rysand told her the plan, because otherwise this whole shebang would only be like, only in quotation marks, be like in a selfish kind of way, and she would have to justify it like, oh, I'm only doing this for Tamlin. But now she can at least tell herself, I'm doing this for the greater good and I'm protecting other people here.
Maybe she wouldn't have done it if Rysand hadn't told her, you need to make this. But the eye on her hand isn't doing anything. I mean, in the second task, the eye kind of told her, like, through pain to, like, pull a lever. And this time, the eye is quiet.
I mean, I
guess.
don't know at what point it happens, but I think she's like, there's a pain in my eye that tells me to do it.
Okay.
But I think it's when, like, while she's talking herself into killing the first one.
I mean, if Rysand could actually, like, briefly control her body with the tattoo, it would have been nice of him to do it in this situation, I feel like.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, okay, nice is maybe not the right word, but if he just would have taken over and be like, step, I mean, she wouldn't have to live with the guilt
I'm not
necessarily.
sure.
I don't know.
I don't want to argue that it would have been necessarily good of Rysand to control her body and do
He
it
did
for her.
before, when he made her drink the wine.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. It would have been a rather guilt-free
I don't know if it would be guilt-free.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you can still find plenty to blame yourself for.
I mean, it's your hand, and she probably would have been like, I wasn't strong enough to fight it. So, because I was too weak, they died. So she's still... Well, he didn't force her, she did it herself, so we don't need to argue about whether it
But
would
do
be...
you think he would have if she didn't do it?
I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know, like, I'm trying to discern, like, how much he can control her. Like, obviously, he made her drink the wine. That's not a too elaborate action, but it's also not just, like, a nudge. So, yeah.
Yeah. But do you think you could have done it?
I'm glad I don't have to ask myself if I
Yeah,
would have
I don't
been
even
able
want
to
to
do
think
it.
about it.
It's not an easy situation to put oneself into.
And to have to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, once is hard. And I think after you've done it, you're kind of in, like, this thrill. So you can be like, okay, it's over. But she has to do it 2 more times. And each of the times she has to pick up a new dagger and, like, begin from 0 and do it again. No. That's a really cruel task.
Yeah.
But maybe she starts liking it. Maybe that's the plot of the next book.
I don't think so.
During the task, she doesn't like it. When she moves on to the second Fae, they again take off the hood. And this time it's a female. And
It's not Alice.
it's not Alice.
Thank God.
But when I understood, oh, she's like taking the hoods off one by one, that's the point when I realized, oh, fuck. The third person is gonna be someone we know, isn't it? And I was really scared it would be Lucian.
Same, because like the whole time, like we get bits and pieces of like who's doing what, but Lucian is never mentioned.
Yeah. And also, I said during the second task that I was really scared that Lucian might die because they like made up and they had their reconciliation, so it would have made sense. And I would have cried.
But it's not. Woo!
Yeah. Move on with the second fairy.
Feyre describes her as simple looking, describing her almost to herself, which I thought was wild. Because this whole book tells me Fae are so incredibly beautiful and above human beauty. And for her to be like, oh, well, she's rather simple looking.
She must be fucking ugly.
In that moment, to be like, oh, well, you look not as hot as other Fae.
I actually didn't like read it as like simple in a way of like not elaborate, beautiful or something.
more like status?
Yeah,
Okay, that
maybe
makes
like
sense too.
just some farm girl or something because
Maybe she's an ugly farm girl.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
I mean, when Amarantha gives her the task, she is like, these are innocent people. Like she's explicitly telling her, these are innocents. Go kill them. Do what you did with Andras. Big oof. But yeah, I like that they're not all like pleading for their lives. I feel like the second fairy understands the situation a bit more and is like, basically, please give me an easy death.
Yeah, for her to be second, I guess she knows she already killed the first one. It doesn't make sense if she turns it down now, so I'm gonna die. And she basically immediately starts like saying that prayer Tamlin has said before, where she's like, Mother, save me, immortality, eternity, milk and honey, land.
Let me get into the garden or something like that.
Yeah. And the last 3 lines are like, let me fear no evil, let me feel no pain, let me enter eternity. And Feyre takes that as like begging for a quick and easy kill. And she gives her that.
How nice.
Yeah.
Go, Feyre.
And when she says like, as I lifted the ash dagger, something inside me fractured so completely that there would be no hope of repairing it. Like the last episode you said like, ooh, do you think there is a possibility that she might become addicted to the fairy wine? And now I can see where a fairy wine addiction might come from.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that she tries to drown her guilt and like blend all of it out afterwards.
I think this is a really big moment for her, especially character-wise.
Yeah.
Like, there is no turning back from what she did. And it pained me. I felt so sorry for her.
But it is a good story.
Yes, I like it in like story.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And I mean, we have often said like, this is so YA, this is so YA. I think at this point, especially these chapters are very adult.
Yeah.
Because to make the choice, no, I will kill these people. I will not be like, no, I can't do it. I'm noble. It's very dark. I think it will take a lot of time and work and effort and willingness to live with it.
And I hope the book takes that time.
Yeah.
Like maybe books 2 and 3 will be her always having this nagging thought about what she did and it, I don't know, getting in her way and dragging her down. And then later books focus on her recovery.
Or maybe it will even like I feel like in the beginning it will be like very present and then maybe it will come up later sporadically. Maybe in a fight she is faced to kill someone again and maybe the guilt comes back, or I don't know, it would be kind of cliche to go on a dark Feyre route and be like, I'm going on a killing spree now or something. But I can also kind of see that, even though I don't really know the reasoning for it right now.
Yeah, but it really costs her. And I think we can see that in how she's basically dissociating from herself when she moves on to the third body.
Well, before we move on to the third body, I would also like to talk about the way she kills the second fairy, because it says, I gripped her delicate, bony shoulder and drove the dagger into her heart. And it's just like, she's a killer in this moment. She has the killer in her. And in a way, that's kind of what Amarantha wants to prove here. And she does.
I guess it depends on what side you view it from. Because we don't know why Jurian killed Clythia. And the story we know makes him very heartless. But the story we read here from Feyre's perspective makes Feyre not very heartless. I wanted to make a stone heart joke, but I couldn't think of one.
We appreciate your effort, though.
Maybe for the audience, this is proving Amarantha's point. But for us readers, it is not proving Amarantha's point, because it's proving that, I guess, sometimes you are forced into situations. It's the classical train dilemma, where you have like a train going straight and you can't brake. And then there are 2 sections. On the one section, there's 1 person. And on the other section, there's like 15 people. And you have to decide, who are they going to run over?
Yeah, and Feyre pulls the lever because she sacrifices these people to save, I guess, all those people who would die in the war.
But the thing is, it's not just a train that is going rogue on a weird train track. It's an evil lady that put the train there and is like, ha ha ha, are you going to pull the lever or not? And there's an audience who saw her put the train there. And I agree it depends on how the audience will see this, but the audience could also see it like, Orula just killed some of our people.
And also, it's not just like Feyre pulls the lever. She is threatened that if she does not pull the lever, she is killed.
The train will run over her.
Yeah, so it's quite a different situation.
A conundrum.
Yeah. Maybe we can just conclude
Killing's good.
Amarantha is kind of
Evil?
What?
but in a stupid way. Yeah, who's under the third hood? Meike, enlighten us. Is it Lucian?
No.
Is it Alice?
No.
Is it...
Tamlin?
Nah,
Yes.
he's sitting there. What?
Oh, he's sitting right next to Amarantha.
No, guys. The ACOTAR can apparently shapeshift, and he took Tamlin's form, and that's also why he didn't react to her confession of her love. Because the real Tamlin would have. There would have been love in his eyes.
Yeah.
The way the fake Tamlin just turns back into the ACOTAR was just kind of hilarious to me.
Ah, gotcha!
Yeah, it just seems, even though like slapstick humor actually means something different, it just seems so slapsticky. It's just like, bling, haha, I tricked you.
Once again, the ACOTAR is kind of funny.
It's kind of
like,
derpy.
Yeah, just a guy.
Yeah, and I also have to mention this here, like before the third person is revealed, we get a little flash of Rye's hand who's like, hey, soon she will be dead, yes! And then Tamlin is revealed, and the way his whole world just breaks down.
Like, God,
I love
fucking
it.
damn it.
He's like, no, my pretty little plan.
I felt a little sorry for him. Because while I think his plan is stupid, I think I said that I think, like, it kind of makes sense. So for him to be like, shit. I should have calculated that she would want to kill Tamlin. Now she will break free of that fucking curse, but Tamlin will be dead. Fucking damn it.
I think he's truly desperate and shocked at this point.
He didn't see it coming.
No.
But
We saw it coming.
Yeah. I remember some episodes ago we offhandedly said, I think the third task is going to be something she can't do. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like, kill Tamlin, but So we predicted it with specifically not predicting it, but in a predicting kind of way.
Yeah, it's like we thought about it and was like, what would be the worst thing? Yeah, that. And that's what happens with a little flourish around it.
Yeah. Well, of course, she's heartbroken. She's like, oh no, not my grass-smelling green eye boy.
But what I found interesting, to me it seemed for a moment that she's kind of talking herself into it. She's like, kill him and save his court and my life, or kill myself and let them all live as Amarantha's slave, and let her and the King of Hybern wage their final war against the human realm.
I mean...
And at this point, I was like, is she actually talking herself into this? Is she going to kill Tamlin right now? Is this like the plot? That she kills her first love? The dream! Tamlin will be dead!
I was really hopeful for a moment, I gotta say.
Yeah, because I thought, you already killed two Fae. You gotta kill him now.
And she would be doing it for his court. And like, I don't know, in another book, I maybe would have been, yeah, obviously she's not going to kill him. Like, But at this point, I really didn't know what I could expect anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe she's really doing it.
And I think, maybe you can disagree if you don't see it that way, but I think Tamlin, as the honor-driven boy he is, I think he would have been like, yeah, do it. I'm gonna sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
And I think Feyre knows that he is this way. So I could have seen that she would have done it. If it were not for some random shenanigans.
The plot twist of a century.
That we can now elaborate. I didn't really get it, but I guess that's happening.
So as Feyre is debating whether she should kill or should not kill Tamlin, she remembers Alice told her there is still one thing left to the curse that she doesn't know of yet. And she remembers Alice being like, you have to listen. You have to listen. And then Feyre thinks back to all the moments she did listen. And she remembers how she would be eavesdropping around the mansion in Springcourt. And she remembers Lucian telling Tamlin that he is like a cold, stone-hearted person. And then she remembers the Atar going like, oh, for someone with a stone heart, you're kind of soft. Also to Tamlin. And then she's like, ha, 2 people using the expression stone heart. That cannot be a coincidence. No. There's only one reason they could use that. It is because Tamlin has, of course, a heart of stone, literally.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she does add that she has never felt his pulse, where I was like, when did that happen? Did we know that?
Yeah, it was never mentioned. I don't think it was ever mentioned.
Otherwise, I think we have gone the vampire route, right?
Yeah, probably. But honestly, they had sex.
Yeah, and they cuddled afterwards.
Yes. How did she not notice him not having a heartbeat? Don't you notice someone not having a heartbeat?
I don't know.
Feyre doesn't.
Maybe Isaac had very low pulse.
Maybe Isaac also has a stone heart.
But I think the point of the revelation where she lost me was when she was like, that was how she controlled him and his magic. How she controlled all the High Lords. Where I was like, how did you get there now? How does him having a heart of stone? I mean, I guess she turned his heart into stone as part of the curse, but how does that make her control him?
I guess.
And all the High Lords.
Do they all have a heart of stone?
Maybe this potion she used turned all of their hearts into stone.
Okay.
And because now there's, heart and livability maybe equals power, and because your heart is made of stone now, your power is contained, and that's how she controls their magic. I don't know.
Feyre can just log that, but does not get the solution of this easy riddle. Nah. So I have to admit, I think I kind of read that part wrong. And when I first read it, I thought that Tamlin is just Davy Jones, and she took his heart out of his body as part of the curse. And that's where I thought, she controls him because she has his heart in the chest, and if he does something wrong, she can just stab him remotely. I thought that's the plot, but I guess not.
Yeah, especially because a stone heart or a stone-hearted person usually means they cannot love or they don't have any empathy or something. But apparently they do. They just have a stone heart.
It's just symbolism.
Yeah.
It's not symbolism. It's just a stone heart. That's the point.
Maybe the book will get deeper into this.
Probably. I hope so.
But for now, Feyre is very certain of her idea that Tamlin has, in fact, a stone heart.
Also, what she additionally gives as a reasoning is that Amarantha is so incredibly obsessed with Tamlin that she wouldn't really risk him dying there.
Yeah, which is a good thought.
Yeah, that's the point I agree with. That's good thinking. Because that would be really stupid of her to go through all this effort to get him and then be like, no, to humiliate this girl. Go ahead, kill my boy.
Yeah, absolutely. She went to so much trouble to get him. Yeah. For her to just let him die now would be, I don't know, just insane. So the chapter ends with one banger sentence. I really liked it, because she goes I love you, I said, and stabbed him.
Yeah, wild. But I also love the sentence. I don't know if it's the sentence directly before or a few sentences before, but she's like, I trusted Tamlin, and more than that, I trusted myself. And I was like, yes, you go, girl. Trust yourself. Character growth. Woo!
Finally.
Very good.
Yes, I loved that. Yeah, and then she stabs him.
Stabby stab.
Stab.
Finally. I don't even care if he dies or not. I just want her to stab Tamlin.
Would have been wild if he died.
Good. Yeah, but we read chapter 44, so we weren't left off on a cliffhanger. Luckily, I kind of, when I finished this chapter, I was like, ooh, if we had ended at chapter 43, that would have been because I really wanted to continue reading. I didn't think Tamlin would die, but I was like, what if?
What if?
The
what
dream.
If?
It makes you ponder the question, what if?
But luckily, for her, not for us, she is correct. And after just hitting flesh and blood, the dagger is hitting something very hard. So hard it even dents the dagger. Blink. She's hitting his stone heart, and he doesn't die.
He's just very hurt.
And at first, I thought is now with a snap, everything is gonna fall into place and Tamlin will have his power back and like a riot is gonna break loose. But Tamlin is healing just very slowly, which means he does not have his power back, which means Amarantha is not fulfilling her promise yet. And she's so petty, oh my god. She reveals her evil plan.
Nice.
She
Come on, you can do it.
when she said, I will release everyone immediately, that immediately only referred to when Feyre called out the right solution to the riddle, which again, we said would be stupid.
I thought the solution is love, not stupid.
I mean, we saw this coming a mile away
Yes.
as soon as she introduced the riddle, because we were like, why else would she do this except for loophole?
Yeah, and then Amarantha is just like, well, I did not say when I would release everyone. Maybe when you're dead.
Yeah, she's so petty. She's like, nah, 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 I tricked you, baby. It's
I
just
hate her. Also, like, the whole crowd is like, come on, you gotta let her go. She beat the task.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't say that, but I can just hear the calls of, come on, from the crowd.
But to be fair, when you're dead might come sooner than we think, because Amarantha tries to kill her.
Yeah.
Immediately. She's like, I'm gonna kill you! And then she like hits her with like force powers in her mind and body, and she's screaming out in agony, and
she's
I don't
torturing
know.
her.
Shit's going
a lot
down.
of bones break. And I don't know. I think it's not how it's written in the book, but in my headcanon, she's like using her mind to grab Feyre with telekinesis and just slam her on the ground a bunch of times.
Yeah, I kind of imagined the same thing, and then maybe like bending her or something.
Yeah, it feels similar to Raisan's power, but not contained to the mind, but like to her full body.
Yeah.
Which sounds excruciating.
I mean, I think Amarantha just can't do mind powers. Otherwise, she wouldn't use Rysand all the time.
Yeah, she just can do torture powers.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see Amarantha's like full power on display.
Well, I mean, it was horrible what happened to Feyre, but it kind of didn't do anything to me because it was just like, yeah, she's like, oh, and then my kneecaps almost jump out, and I guess it's such an abstract way of torture. I was just like, pain. Yeah, I read these things and I was like, okay, what does this mean, pain? Okay, I'm moving on.
I guess that's because she retells it to us very, like, cleanly.
Casual, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you cannot be like, they, ooh, ooh, and put like her agonized screams in the book. So because this is first person, she has to tell us, and then she breaks my kneecap.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't say, like, you would not go, ouch, she breaks my knee. I think it would be more immersive if she would not describe what is breaking, but like how it's breaking. Like if she would rather describe the magic that's going through her body instead of being like technical about it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't need to know what bone is breaking when she describes me how it feels like. I don't know, like it's like lightning strikes me and blah blah blah. Like
Or splintering, or maybe she hears cracking or something.
right, I don't need the full picture. I just want a personal insight on this, and I don't really get it here.
Yeah,
so.
I need to know what it feels like to really know it's bad. I mean, I know it's bad torture, but like, I mean, you don't want to relate to it too much, but
Yeah, I mean, I have not had someone break my kneecap, so someone being like, she breaks my kneecap is not something I can relate to. But if she just described how she feels in that moment, I could maybe more relate to it and like understand what's going on. So yeah, this felt kind of flat.
But all the while she's torturing her, she's like, I agree that you're a bad human. And again,
She's so petty.
yeah, I almost wish that she had a more interesting motive.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a good villain, but it's like,
There are a few questions I had during that scene. One is, why is Jurian going so crazy inside of the ring? Because I think Feyre is describing while she's being tortured, the eye is like rotating and being like wild inside of there. And I wondered, it can't just be sympathy for a human. Like Amarantha wants us to think there are Fae and there are human, and Fae only care about Fae and human only care about human. But that dude is split into parts and pieces. I don't think he's gonna care so much about this random girl. But why is he caring so much about Amarantha torturing her? Like, I still think there is a bigger thing to Jurian.
Maybe Jurian is secretly Feyre's dad.
No.
Maybe her granddad.
Sure. I registered this sentence when I read it, but to me, Amarantha was very wild in that moment and kind of used her arms to use her magic in my mind, my imagination. So to me, it was just like Jurian in that ring going like, oh, a lot of movements here, like as if he's in a roller coaster.
He was just thrown around.
Yeah, I didn't like question it. I was just like, whee!
Well, maybe that's the case.
That's it.
I mean, no, I think you have a very good point here. I just didn't pick up that there might be a point there when I read it.
Yeah, I want to make a conspiracy out of it, but I can't.
But I love how, at this point, fairies began calling foul play, which is such a funny image. Like, Amarantha is horridly enraged and cruelly torturing Feyre till death, while Tamlin is dying, and there are fairies being like, this is a bit unfair. I call foul play.
Honestly, not cool.
This is like a referee with a striped shirt standing on the sidelines, blowing his whistle. No, out, foul.
2-minute penalty.
And then I wondered, in that moment, when Amarantha is like, admit you never really loved him and I will let you go, I think she means it. Like, she is so sold on this story that humans do not love, that humans only betray and deceive, that if Feyre would have been like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right, I could have never loved someone, especially not a Fae, I am so evil and deceiving, Amarantha would have been like, ha! That's what I always said. Now you listen to me. Here, you hear it for yourself. She lied. Why didn't she just try it? I mean, there's still the chance Amarantha is then like, and for your evilness, I will now kill you. But Tamlin would have understood. Tamlin wouldn't have been like, what? She never loved me. I have been deceived. I understand that Feyre wants to stay true to her love and wants to stay loyal, but you killed 3 innocent people. You killed 2 innocent people. The third one is still alive, unfortunately.
And he's not innocent, he's Tamlin.
But now you're gonna be like, no, I have to step back from lying about my love.
I respect that you go at it with like a logical mind. Because it is the logical solution, let's be honest. But I kind of like that she held on to her love for him, even though I don't, as I said before, I don't like them together, but I like that she sticks with it and it's like, this is all that is real to me now.
It's true love.
But honestly, that moment that Amarantha does not want to accept that humans can love, while it's pretty childish and petty, it also makes her a pretty relatable person, because let's be honest, that's what humans tend to do. If they are like so fixed in all their beliefs, the truth can be waving and dancing in front of them, and they will not believe it. Like, that's what happens in this world, unfortunately.
Right now.
Yes. So I guess that makes for a relatable villain.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's so hung up on this history with Jurian and her sister. It makes me almost kind of sad for her that she is so broken by her sister's death, apparently, that she's just so going crazy over it. Because I think when we first learned about her, we were like, oh, she's a general, she seems so calculated and smart. But here in this scene, she's basically going insane. And it kind of felt like that moment in Avatar where Azula is totally losing it, and she's just shooting lightning and babbling and screaming, and you're like, shit, she's totally gone. I'm sorry, but wow, Jesus. And she has this anger about her sister's death, and also this obsession over Tamlin, which is just sickening. Like, why is she so obsessed with Tamlin? Why?
That is the real question, Meike.
I think even though like Fae are painted as like these superior beings,
They are painted by Feyre? Wow.
also that.
No.
No, but as I said before, like, why don't you just let go? It's been 500 years. I feel it's like a sign of their longevity and what that does to you. Because if you are immortal and live so long, it makes sense that you hold grudges for an enormous long time. And if you do not have that lifespan, you're like, why? Like, that's like maybe the power of a human life. And I feel like stories about immortal beings usually refer back to why it is good to be immortal. And it's like, as a mortal with like a restricted amount of time, you have to learn to let go and overcome your resentments so that you can live a full life and not like be hung up about these things. Or
Yeah.
maybe not these things, but like resentments.
She needs good therapy.
Yeah. Do you think there are Fae therapists?
No.
Maybe like in Winter Court or something. I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, you have told the story of how we predict that there are like evil scientists doing experiments in Winter Court. Now I'm putting it out there. They are good people up there. They have psychiatrists.
Because
and
they are so
therapists.
cozy. They all have like their chimneys going and they're like snuggled up in their blankets, drinking hot chocolate.
Yeah,
And they talk about their feelings.
because they have nothing better to do in a cold winter night.
Yeah.
Because they all have seasonal depression.
Oof, that would be hard if you have seasonal depression and then just live at a place where it's always winter.
Iceland?
Yeah. Sorry to all the Iceland people. No, but Iceland is nice nature.
But it's not seasonal
it
if
makes
it's all
sense.
year. So
I mean, like, there are people living near the North Pole that don't have sun for half a year.
But maybe they don't have seasonal depression. You don't know that, Lea.
No, I don't know that. I hope they have ways of dealing with that.
Yes.
I'm pretty
therapy.
sure people
Yeah.
living close to places where it's dark a lot and winter a lot, they have ways to cope with the lack of sun.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Rysand comes from a place where it's always dark and look at how he turned out.
That is unfair.
No, my point is they obviously do not have therapy in Night Court.
Yet.
But speaking of Rysand,
He has a plan! He crouches next to Tamlin, but it's not to help his bro, who's still not fully healed. Tough. But to retrieve the dagger Feyre stabbed him with, to then attack Amarantha. As if a little dagger could kill her.
I mean, at least it's Ashwood.
Yeah, it's
I
an Ashwood
like that.
dagger.
I respected it. Where was I?
You respected it.
Yeah, I had a thought, but it just flew away.
Like Rysand when Amarantha hits him with her wave of power and just throws him back.
Without
Yeah.
even looking at him.
I wanted to say, I don't think he has that much of a plan. I think he's like, I have to act now. And he's trying to help and trying to fight. And he's like, I'll try.
Yeah, and he also chooses to basically reveal that he is a traitorous bastard, as
Yeah.
Amarantha calls him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
he-
not sure if that was smart, but at least it stopped Amarantha for a second, and Feyre has a second to breathe and not be in agonizing pain, so I guess that helped. And then Amarantha focuses her anger and power on Rysand and not on Feyre anymore, though she's still hurting her. I guess she's dual wielding now.
I really liked how easily she can defeat him.
Yes.
Yeah, and she, as you said, she's doing it like so reprimandingly. She's like, I have to punish you now. Yeah.
Tudu.
Yeah, it's like, yep, he just doesn't have it. Or not enough.
She's got his power.
At this point, there was something happened that I didn't really understand or didn't fully understand again, because they have like a moment where they connect with their mind melding stuff. Feyre has like an out of body experience and watching herself being tortured. And then immediately after that, like bad memories from her childhood come into her brain, and it's like a mental torture kind of way. And I was like, my first thought was, new form of torture. That's what Amarantha is doing to her. But then I was like, but she just bound with Rysand. Like, what is happening? Because also Mind Stuff is his thing. Like, is it him trying to get her out of her pain? Or what is happening?
I have not been thinking about it until now. But what I thought could be it is that because of the bond, he is at first sending her the memories of how she killed for the first time a rabbit, which was horrible for her. But then he kind of contrasts this memory with like happy memories of Tamlin when he like calls out her name. I guess because Feyre is being tortured and then Tamlin like screams her name and begs for Amarantha to stop, I guess. And then Feyre is like, okay, if I have to endure this, if like all of this is so that I love and stay true to my love, then so be it. I'm gonna die. But I'm dying with love and for love. So in a way it's worth it, maybe. And that finally brings her to understanding that the solution to the riddle is love. So maybe Rysand was like, okay, I'm gonna need a way to tell her, it's love! It's love!
Okay, yeah, so I didn't read it like that he's trying to help her with the riddle, but that makes sense. That's cool, yeah.
I have to admit, I mean, I liked this chapter and Amarantha's whole frenzy, insanity thing, but the moment where Feyre gets to the answer, that just didn't get me whatsoever. I thought it was pretty silly and on the nose.
I agree.
And maybe that's just because it's such an easy riddle. And then then Feyre like goes through all the parts of the riddle and is like, it's this and that connects with it. And then she dramatically says the word love. As it just kind of feels like Sarah J. Maas is feeling so smart here, and that her intention was for the reader to be like slowly realizing it together with Feyre, and just like, no, it didn't work, I'm sorry.
It's like in a TV show or a movie when they use flashbacks to like hint at something, and you're like, I know, I watched the movie. Thank you. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
When they have people like repeating a sentence or something, I always think that's so annoying. I don't like that. Let me think.
I also found, especially the reciting of the lines, very over-dramatic, because we have known the answer for a while now. But I have to say, I really liked how she said the answer, because she's basically dying, and with her dying breath, she's saying it at the same time. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because she like fades out after that.
Yeah, the sentence is pretty badass. Love, I breathed, the word crumbling into a blackness with no end. Deep shit.
Deep shit.
It's love.
So yeah, Feyre is dead. Book's over.
Cool. I'm excited for the new protagonist.
Well,
A wallflower.
oh no. As it happens, there are still 2 chapters left. What?
And maybe we can talk about the last sentence of the chapter.
I didn't really get that one. I
What
thought it
last
was
sentence?
cool, but also
The last sentence being, so she like says, the answer is love, and then Tamlin's eyes went wide before something forever cracked in my spine.
I think his eyes went wide because the curse was lifted immediately.
Yes, I thought
I'm-
so too.
I'm not confused about the eyes going wide part.
And then forever cracked in my spine. So either she is like fully paralyzed now, but I read it as like, that's because when you break your neck, you die. A lot of the times, that's like her dying. Like she sees Tamlin's eyes widening and then she dies. And my prediction for the next chapter is that Tamlin gets his full magic back and then he can heal/revive her or something.
I don't know. I thought, like, to me it kind of read like, this might just be where the plot is headed, that Feyre is paralyzed from the neck or waist down from now on, but I don't know if that's going to be the story.
I think it would be cool. And representation, yay. But I don't think that's what happened.
Also,
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
if he gets his power back, it would be so easy for him to heal her.
probably. I guess you can always say, like, Amarantha used some powerful and irreversible magic to crack her spine, so maybe it can be like a whole thing to heal Feyre. Maybe the plot of the next book is Feyre is like paralyzed, and then Feyre has to do something or Tamlin and, the characters have to do something to heal her, maybe.
I mean, maybe he will, like, care for her for a long time at her bedside and, like, have a lot of long healing sessions where they have long talks.
Who? Rysand or Tamlin?
No,
Both.
So yeah, I just thought that might be where the story is headed now. But you might also be right that she just died.
I don't.
She just
I mean, that she died and that now she has to be
Revived.
resurrected.
revived.
Maybe Rysand and Tamlin have to work together to bring her back or something.
Maybe Tamlin has to sacrifice himself to bring her back?
But guys, this is a first-person book. She can't die.
No,
All the story will be told from her ghost.
no.
I
I
mean-
think in the next chapter she will wake up, and then Rysand and Tamlin will look over her both together because they had to work together.
Or maybe the story will be in the next chapter. She wakes up in Springcourt in the fully restored mansion 2 years after this incident because it took so long to revive her. Also, Amarantha died, and the King of Fireburn as well.
Okay, I don't think that will be the case because here I'm going to tell you what the next chapter will be like. Because there's one thing we're kind of missing in this discussion, and it's the mask. Because she will be like still conscious, looking at Tamlin, and the thing will just plop off his face.
Yes.
That needs to happen.
Yeah.
The mask has been such a big thing. There has to be a moment where it like falls off his face.
And then she'll be like Belle and be like, "Oh, he's actually not my type." The fuck?
Guys, I just realized something.
What?
If the curse is lifted, that means Lucian will no longer be a fox boy.
Maybe he can turn into a fox. Maybe he will have enough powers.
Maybe he'll just keep the mask on. Maybe he'll understand that being a fox is just superior to not being a fox.
Meike, he doesn't need his mask to be a fox. He is a fox in his heart. And in his hair.
And Tamlin can still turn into a fox, and Feyre into Cat Feyre, and they can have little adventures. Fox Lucian and Cat Feyre together.
Aww.
Fox Kitty.
Okay.
What I wanted to say, to predict, I think the next chapter is gonna be, I woke up because someone revived me, but I don't know who that is. This face does not seem familiar.
But those green flecked eyes, I would recognize them anywhere.
Also the smell.
Ugh. We also don't know if the terms of the bargain include, like, how immediately is. Like, is Amarantha, by promise, bound to immediately lift the curse, but she has to actively lift the curse? Or is the curse just lifted by the terms being fulfilled? Jesus, that was a crazy sentence. But, we don't know if Feyre says love and immediately everything, the curse is dropped and Tamlin has his power back and whoosh, everything is different. Or if she says love and then Amarantha is like, God damn it, that is right. Okay, I will lift the curse now. Because then she would still have the chance to, I don't know, try to break it, like break the promise. But
Or
that would be stupid.
Or maybe she at least would have the chance to, like, get herself to safety, kind of, or bargain herself into safety.
Just trying to make a new deal. I'm gonna lift it if you don't kill me.
And Rysand is there like, no, kill her now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me neither.
What, none of you have read the next chapter?
Maybe we can do a live reading. I'm doing it.
We're just gonna read it out loud now.
I'm doing it. I'm gonna read the first sentence.
knowledge than us.
I'm gonna read the first sentence
Oh my
out loud
God.
now.
This feels...
No.
This
is
feels
cheating.
illegal. I'm gonna do it now. This is the first sentence of chapter 45.
Wait. Okay.
I was far away, but still seeing. Seeing through eyes that weren't mine. Eyes attached to a person who slowly rose from his position on a cracked, bloodied floor.
Is it Rysand?
What
It
the
must
fuck?
be
It
Rysand
has
because
to
they
be.
can mind meld. We get Rysand perspective.
Is she really dead now and inside of Rysand?
Oh my
think
god!
so.
Maybe that's the quest. They have to get her body back.
Are they like sharing?
Oh my god, this is great! Yes!
I'm so glad we did this.
Okay.
This is amazing, oh my god.
Now this weird sentence about her swapping places with Rysand and looking at herself from his perspective makes sense.
Amazing.
Wow.
If you want to hear to the rest, that's not a word.
You're so excited you can't even talk anymore.
If you want to know how we find out the rest, you will have to tune in next time.
We're not reading more.
That's it with the podcast. We're not reading anything else.
Yeah,
Let's just stop here.
yeah. I mean, I already said our last sentence, but our socials have to get before that. So check out Instagram at gettingfaedpod. Check out TikTok at gettingfaedpod. Highlights, memes. I can't concentrate anymore. Follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Leave a review and recommend the podcast to your friends, because mouth to ear propaganda or whatever helps. I can't think anymore. Tune in next time when we're getting fed.